Well, hello there, Chubs fans, and welcome to another fabulous edition of Chubs Gone Wild. This is episode 3987, which is not correct. It is actually 398. But hey, you know what? It's a far distant future, and we're just talking heads in a jar now, right? Like on Futurama.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It is currently June 14th, 2021, and it is 82, or at least on its way to 82, and sunny outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios, where it is 139 days until Halloween, and we are now down to 194 days until Christmas, which means we've got to step it up, people. Step it up. Um, got to get those cards ready. I got to get mine out by September 1st. So.
Well, remember, I'm no longer buying presents or receiving presents for birthdays or Christmas anymore.
Okay, we'll go with that.
Just letting you know that do not get me anything for my birthday.
Okay. I won't get you any. I'll get myself something for your birthday. How's that?
That's a great idea. I hope, and make sure it's something you really love, and then I'll know that love was meant for me.
I will. I have something planned, but I'll do it for myself. So,
yay.
Anyway, it is also 20 days until Independence Day and 203 days until season 2 of Call Me Cat. Yay! So excited.
They did renew Girls 5 Eva.
Oh, they did. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Is that your kind of your favorite show right now?
No, it's just fun to the songs are fun, and and I'm really happy to see some of the actresses that are on the show working. It's weird. I was watching Home Before Dark, which is the Apple TV young girl who's like an 11-year-old investigative journalist.
Oh, right.
And Dan Bird, who was from Cougar Town, played Travis in Cougar Town. He's on the show now.
Son, right?
So what?
He was the son, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So he showed up, and it's just like, yay! I like to see the people I like work.
Yes.
Because oh my God, I was looking at something else, something older, and it's like, oh my God, these people aren't working. Why aren't they working? I hope it's their choice, which it never is.
Right. Exactly.
There is so much product, so many movies and TV shows, and how are some of these people not working all the time?
Right. Exactly. Also, it's kind of weird when you watch somebody grow up on a show, and then when they do kind of come back, it's about 10 years after the show or whatever, and they're playing a parent. You're like, huh?
Oh yeah, that's really rough. Sean went through that probably 10 years ago, where he was watching something and the parents were younger than he was.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and they were in the 20s, and they were in their 20s, and they were parents of 8 and 9-year-olds, but still it's like, what? And I go, well, yeah, get ready, it gets worse.
It does. It's very, very weird to see the guys that you were so attracted to and thought of as older guys are now younger than you. It's very odd. Anyway, well, today we celebrate Army. It is the Army's birthday. Also Family History Day, Flag Day, International Bath Day. Well, we'll celebrate that with the dogs a little bit later. Also National Bourbon Day, Strawberry Shortcake, Own Your Share of America. Is that even possible anymore? Pause for the Pledge, Pop Goes the Weasel, and World Blood Donor Day. And thank you to any of our listeners who are blood donors. That is a very important thing to do. Associated Press breaking news. The Justice Department's top national security is resigning after revelations the department secretly seized records from Democrats. What? Hold on. And members of the media.
Yeah, it's all over the news.
It's all over my need to, as part of an aggressive investigations into leaks. Wow. So they were coming for Dems, huh?
Well, yeah, Trump said he was going to go after Schiff and well, I remember him saying he was going after Schiff. Shifty Shift is what he called him. You know, he's one of our local guys. He's from Fresno area.
Oh,
And he's the not majority house leader, but he's the head of the of one of the big groups that they break into, you know, the House breaks into. You know, I know that what's the lady from Southern California who's so hilarious. She's not Katie Porter, but the black the black congressman. Anyway,
yes, I know who you mean, but I don't remember her name.
Yes, I think she's like finance, and so Trump, of course, picked on her and Schiff, and they're both heads of huge. Yeah, and I'm not saying that they're going to go after him because he's a dick, but I wouldn't be surprised. You come after me, and then when you're out of power, it's his birthday today.
No, who? Yeah. Trump's?
Yes, Trump's birthday.
Ugh.
I know.
We rue the day. Of course, that would figure that he's a Gemini.
Did I tell you that every morning I pick up the my phone, like right around 6 o'clock, just to see if he's died?
Yes. Yeah.
Not wishing he's died. I'm just
no.
Did he die? No, he's still alive.
I just wonder. When I get these news things, I'm like, oh, is this the text that's going to tell me that he's finally been arrested?
No, that would be a good one too.
Yeah. Yep. I'd rather see that. Anyway, today's affirmation: I am learning about love at my job. I love the people I work with. Actually, I do.
You work with no one, basically.
Well, yes, but I would say most of my clients are really cool people. So, all right. Well, yeah. Oh my goodness, Tom, for anyone who doesn't watch the video, what's wrong with you? Also, Tom is holding up, oh my God, a whole bag full of Cadbury's Easter eggs. I'm feeling
tons of sugar.
feeling faint right now. Yes, yes, it is. It's horrible. I should not want it, but I do. Anyway, moving on. Patreon offers folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcasts, videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Stars, Age Review, also Timothy, Eric, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. Please become a patron of the show over at patreon.com/MattBurlingame, and thank you again to all our current patrons. Well, I guess we need to talk about some birthdays. Got some coming up here. Hopefully the page will come up so we can talk about it. Come on, Facebook, don't be so slow. Don't be that guy. Today's birthdays: author Jane Northcote. Happy birthday. Also, author A.M. Rawson. Yeah, that's good. Also, Melissa, author Gabrielle DeBona. That Lala Lauren. Wait a minute. We already gave them. Those are past birthdays. Sorry, you only get one per show.
Not true.
Yeah, we got happy birthday to Star. Also, Hargrove.
Star.
I know. I actually knew some Star with 2 R's, and I actually knew someone who was like a kid named that, and
I know
she was the Star of a girl.
I know somebody else named Star too, but no, I was doing the from Lost Boys when the whatever the lead guys, he goes, "Hey, what's your name?" And then Jamie Gertz turns around and goes, "Star." And it's like, oh my God, why did we have to have a love interest? Okay, go ahead.
Forgot all about that. Yeah. All right. We also wish happy birthdays to Alfredo. Oh my God, that TJ Zombie girl. Happy birthday to you. Oh my God, Ed from formerly It's All About Me. Happy birthday. Both June 16th, which is also my mom's birthday. Happy birthday to my mom. Hey.
And the next day is Barry Manilow's birthday.
That's true, along with Kevin, Max, and then we have Gail, Sammy, my Uncle George. Yay. May he find peace in Christ. Or Peaches Christ. One or the other. Actually, Peaches Christ would be much more fun. I love her. And Joe, Christopher, Brian, June, James, and oh, that Gary Bearden. He's going to be 74 years young. Yeah. He's a big Pride 48 guy. Very sweet. All right. Well, there we go with that. Happy birthday, everybody. So excited. So much cake. Anyway.
Oh, speaking of cake, did you know that the Freeport Bakery over by you?
Yeah.
During the week, they sell cake by the slice.
No.
And each you get on their list, and each day they have different cakes that they're slicing. So, have you ever had their fruit basket cake?
No, I have not.
Yeah, it's sponge
Mhm.
with, and it's bananas, strawberries, and I think there's another one in there, but it's a layer cake, and each layer is whipped cream.
Ooh.
with the fruit, and then another layer with the whipped cream and the fruit, and then topped with overall whipped cream and then fruit. It's just one time somebody brought it to Thanksgiving, and it was like probably 1.5 feet tall. It was so tall.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And see, I don't like fruit in my food, but that sounds really good. Bananas and strawberries, I'm totally down for.
Well, that's kind of like just a strawberry shortcake.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it was.
I had a piece of, so we also have Mel Sam's, the dessert diner, Rick's Dessert Diner, which is a big draw here in Sacramento. And so we stopped there the other night, and our friend Clint bought me a piece of white chocolate fudge cake. And the cake was really dry.
Always.
Frosting was wonderful. And
That's
I ate.
the problem with Rick. The cakes are always dry.
Yeah, what is with that? I mean, you're a dessert diner. Come on.
Yeah, you've got to be able to learn how to keep the moisture in, even if the cake's being cut.
Yep, absolutely. But I will say the frosting was wonderful, and I ate about half of it and had to give the other half to someone else because I have been not having hardly any sugar, and when I had some sugar, it went right to my head. I mean, whew, I was flying and like, wow, all the pretty colors. It was so nice. Anyway, yay cake. Hey, we did get a little feedback in our feedback, and that's from Sean, who was watching the video, and we appreciate that. And he said John Fogerty is the centerfold performer Tom referenced.
He's right.
He used to be in the band Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Yes, yes.
Sweet. Thank you very much, Sean.
So the two that him with Melissa Etheridge at the hockey game.
Wow.
And they both did about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It was great.
That sounds phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so also we got some Chub hugs that we want to send out. I'm going to send one out to Mr. Arthur of the Amron's blog slash podcast, although I don't think he's really podcasting now. But I had sent him a copy of the dedication page to Last Romance, which included his partner who passed a while ago. And he wrote a blog post about it, which was very, very sweet and thoughtful. And I just want to send him a little love today. How about you? What you got?
Well, you know, I want to send out to all those people who were laughing at all the heat back east and in the south last week,
Hmm.
who were on the West Coast, who were about ready to be hit by a huge, huge heat wave. Yeah, this week we're going to have, I think it's, if I remember right, it's Wednesdays 102, Thursdays 109, Fridays 109, Saturdays 102. And that's in Sacramento. Um, uh, a friend of mine from Arizona was posting in the teens all week. 115, 117, and somebody in another friend in Vegas was posting the same kind of numbers. No one hit 120, but they were all in the 100 teens, and everyone's just like, I guess I'll be in the house all week.
Yeah, and hope that the AC doesn't break.
Why would you even throw that out there?
Well, because I have to deal with it every year.
Right. So hugs out to all those people who are about ready to boil their butts. I don't even know what places like Oregon and Washington are going to be like, but they say it's going to be sitting over the, like all of us, the whole West. It's terrible, terrible. See, and the thing is that, I mean, you're gonna experience this almost anywhere in California. This is usually when San Francisco hits the 90s.
Yeah, which is so weird and rare, especially for June. So,
right. Yeah, we usually don't get this kind of heat until late July, early August.
Right. All right. Well, that's a good chub hug. Let's get into current topics. And Burger King throws shade at Chick-fil-A with a pro-LGBTQ fried chicken sandwich. That sounds good. I will eat your gay chicken. Also, San Francisco Giants makes sports history wearing pride-themed uniforms. That's amazing. Very amazing. Walmart Air stands up to Arkansas's anti-trans legislators with a $1 million donation to LGBTQ groups. That's pretty damn cool. And then finally, new intersex inclusive rainbow flag could replace other versions at Pride near you. Interesting. Our little rainbow flag is becoming quite the thing. We're gonna have a stripe for the vegans, and we're gonna have a stripe for people who are afraid of cats.
You're a hater.
Well, yeah, because if you say anything about it and you're like, well, I kind of like the rainbow, and I didn't even mind the the inclusion that we've had this last year, with little arrows. It's kind of cool.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it is we can, don't take down the flag, our original flag, and don't add to it, but add more flags. I mean, do what they did on MeUndies.
Mm-hmm.
They had a flag. They had the rainbow flag underwear. Then they had the transgender underwear, and they had the bisexual underwear. So they're covering a lot of different wieners that way.
Yeah, it's true.
And you can choose what you want. And so when people you're at the in the bathroom and they see your underwear and they go, oh, nice, supporting of the transgender community.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you're just like, I want to be on your stuff, and then because we don't like you, or the thing is, honestly, I don't mind the black and brown and the trans arrows on as a version of the flag. I'm okay with that. But just adding more and more and more, it's going to become like a spot color United Nations of things. But if me saying that as a somewhat cisgender, white, older, gay male, I am, anything that I say is going to automatically be yelled at by somebody as being bigoted.
Well, then now you know what it's like hanging out with you.
Just because some of our older friends who have issues with their mouths need to once in a while be reminded, hello, we're in public, and you shouldn't say that regardless, doesn't mean that, I'm not welcoming of all opinions. I just don't necessarily like all opinions, but that's one of the things that happens. Anyway, hey, Tom wants to talk to you about.
Oh yeah. Okay. First thing I want to talk about is, why are guys wearing masks on dating apps on their profile picture?
Maybe because they can't get a date otherwise. I don't
I
know.
mean,
That's a little
well,
weird.
yeah, I mean, because it's called a selfie because you're usually by yourself,
Yeah.
and it's like, who's gonna? It's like, oh yeah, his profile sounds really good, but I only have seen his eyes, and so I don't
Well,
know
I
what
know that he's safe from COVID because he's wearing a mask, and he's not an anti-masker. So,
Yeah.
But I hope he takes it off when he's down there, right?
Anyway, it's like, okay, well, it kind of reminds me of the guys who go, oh, and don't expect me to answer back if you don't have a profile picture, and they don't have a profile picture.
Right.
I've called them on that before. Someone goes, hey, show me your private pictures, and I'm like, what? You don't even have a profile picture. I'm not going to show you shit. And then they send me a picture, and I go, too late.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Or there's a reason why they didn't have a profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's the other thing is, if you're going to do this, okay, we know that, that some people, let's say not everybody's gorgeous. Okay. But you could take a decent picture.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with taking, I mean, how inept can a person be that they can't even take a decent picture of themselves?
We were just talking about this on Big Gay Sex Show. I went through the do's and don'ts of profiles, and one of the first things is every fucking thing that you have electronically now has a camera in it that can take a decent photo. I don't want to see any blurry photos. I don't want to see any small, tiny little photos. I don't want to see your 1973 graduation photo. Just take a fucking picture of you now and put it up there. And if you're worried that you're not societally attractive, who cares? Everybody's a commodity to somebody. And frankly, if they're only looking at the top of your head, they're probably not going to care.
Yeah. So it's either learn how to do a camera or ask somebody to take your picture.
Yep.
Or but the whole thing, this is the number one selling tool you have is the picture, because that's, if somebody doesn't like the picture, they're not investigating profiles just in case.
Right. Exactly.
So get a good picture. Well, let me go over to this, to there. Okay. This week, I finally watched High School Musical 2. No, wait. High School Musical, the musical, the series, episode 5, which was a quinceañera, and one of the gay characters, he never got a quinceañera, so all the kids at the drama department, threw him a quinceañera, and so or quinceañero, maybe, I don't know, whatever it is. And so what happens is they're all of a sudden they're doing performance numbers in the barn. It was really a barn, seriously. But this one girl was doing a dance based on a dance that he had done when he was younger and put on YouTube, right?
Oh.
And so she did that dance, and she's doing the dance, and then all of a sudden she's got a background of dancers that come in and dance with her. Now, they haven't been anywhere else in the show, but they show up. And then his boyfriend is singing him a song on a grand piano that they rolled in on the back of a truck, because that's so easy and convenient to do. Boy, that thing would be out of tune, I tell
Mhm.
you. But then he's playing the piano, and then all of a sudden there's oboists, oboe, no, a bass. What they're playing in the background, and I'm like, where did they come from? And then when they're eating later, none of those people are there. It's like, oh wow, that's really rude. The drama department just kind of shuns the dance and the musical department, or the musicians, I should say. I just thought it was weird. I mean, I love the show, but it's
Right.
like when all of a sudden things, it's got to be somewhat real, right?
Well, that's it. That's why I hear the main complaint that I hear about from people that don't like musicals is they're like, all this stuff just happens, and I'm like, it's fantasy. Come on, people.
Oh, I would rather not
But I
have
understand what you're
the
saying.
musicians behind him,
Hmm.
or she had this is how she was viewing it would look, and based on her fantasy idea of what
Gotcha.
her yeah, I'm more for that, because I don't mind the breaking out in song, because I do it all the time.
Right.
But yeah, it was just, I mean, it was funny more than it was bad. It was just like, oh my god, now are those people going to get pizza too? Or are they parked behind the barn smoking, waiting for their entry?
Right.
um, okay, so let's see. Haven't started that yet. Bachelorette. The Bachelorette started last week,
Hmm.
and the guys are trying. When they first show up, they try to do silly, funny things to impress her, and some are just getting outrageous. One guy showed up in a box, a big box, right? And he didn't pop out of the box. They rolled the box inside, and she had to come and unwrap him, to let him out of the box. So, and it took a while. So he was in that box for a long time. And one guy came dressed as a cat because she's a cat person. And then she made out with him on the first day. And she had black from his nose and his whiskers all over her face. Okay. And that's the thing.
Or
That's the thing. Exactly. I have watched, the reason why I liked The Bachelor and The Bachelorette at all, I mean, just the smallest of it was the fact that it was kind of like a Cinderella story or a Prince Charming story, where they're looking for true love.
hmm.
um Her name is Katie, and she snogged at least a third of the guys with like tongue snogging during the first show. It's like, at what point she goes, hey, when's the what's, I don't know, whatever the special room that they can sleep in with no cameras.
Uh-huh.
She goes, when do we get those rooms? It's like,
Like,
okay, how many of them do you want to have, whore?
she probably
So
wants them all in there at the same time.
yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
I have to agree with you. Like this type of thing
It's
is
just
just like, no, no. You're supposed to be like somebody that we want you to get married because you're just so special. And we're just like, please, you're the neighbor down the street, girl, can't keep their legs closed.
yeah. And okay, so then I'm watching Challenge All Stars, which is on Paramount Plus, and this used to be a show on um uh MTV. It was like Road Rules, and there was start off with Real World, and then they thought, well, let's get some of those people back and do like a competition with them, and that was Road Rules. And they would go around together and live together, and then go do challenges. And
Yeah.
then they got more money, and they sent them to exotic places with 20 people, and they were fighting against each other, boys against the girls, mixed
Mhm.
groups, whatever it was. And so this is the show, like, my god, it's like 25 years later. So some of the people are still in their 30s, but some of them are in their 40s. So this is getting to be more like Survivor. They're old, they're fat, they don't even look like they used to.
Mm.
Some of them look like, okay, she's been through chemo, because she looks terrible.
Oh.
She's all gaunt, and
Sure.
and it's just like, okay, she was obviously sick for some reason, which we haven't found out yet. But
No.
but then they're asking them to do things that they used to do when they were late teens and early 20s, and now they're late 30s and early 40s because it's like 20 years later. And
Yeah.
it's some of it's hilarious because they're just so not out of shape, but just a mess. And of course, they also spent, I mean, because a lot of these people did multiple of these shows. So
Mm.
they did, they could have done 10 different episodes of these things. And so they basically grew up on television. And now I don't even know if they have jobs because it's like, how can you be, because I don't know where this was shot, probably like New Zealand, because that's where they were actually letting people film,
Mm.
and or Australia or maybe Canada. But so they have the people there, and it's like, who can just go, okay, a month's worth of filming, I can do that for a $500,000 prize,
Right. Yeah.
because
Okay.
that's why they're there. And I'm thinking, girl, there's no way you're going to win this because you can't swim, you're afraid of heights, nobody likes you. And it's
Mm.
like, good luck on this one. But it's Sean's favorite, and so we're really cruising right through it.
Well, that's how I feel about Amazing Race and Survivors. Like, how can you go into these places not knowing how to start fire, not
Mhm.
knowing how to, oh, I'm afraid of bungee jumping. You damn well know you're going to end up bungee jumping somehow or jumping out
Right.
of a plane or something. So,
Oh,
yeah.
how about when they have to climb down a building on the outside?
Oh, the rappel. Yeah.
Telling, yes. Oh my God.
Or like when the season that the one girl had like a prosthetic leg, and it seemed like every other challenge was climbing up something or down something or running.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, these shows, some people shouldn't do them, and the others should be a little bit more aware of what they're getting their asses into. But I think they just want to be on TV. They just want to be famous.
Yeah, and I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, at least know how to start a damn fire before you go on Survivor.
Yes, exactly. And you better know how to swim because you're on a fucking island.
Exactly.
You don't know how to
Yep.
swim, don't go on Survivor.
Right.
Okay. Then I also watched The Stand, which was CBS Access last year, but now it's on Paramount Plus.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a 9-part series based on the Stephen King novel. And I'll tell you, when you're going to do a reboot of The Stand, don't do it on a year there's a world
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, because it's based on, the storyline is there's a world pandemic of a flu that kills off 99.99% of the world. So everyone, and right away I'm like going, oh my God, a little sore throat. And so, yeah, so that was, it was good. I actually liked it better than the first one. I think, yeah, I did. And it was weird because there was, at the ending, there was a whole extra episode after. Have you ever read it or seen it?
Well, speaking of, actually, I read it when I was 19, I think, during a point where it was a really hot, unusually hot summer, which was also in the book, and I had a cold. So let's just say my OCD, the whole reason that I freak out over flu-like things and pandemic and epidemic type stuff is because of this fucking book. Got in
Okay.
my head at a really bad time when I was very vulnerable, and that book has spun me through my entire life of being completely paralyzingly afraid of this shit. So,
Well, don't watch the series.
and I have watched the original series. I watched the first episode of it thinking I could get through it, and I couldn't watch anything after that. It's just too close. But I don't remember an epilogue. I don't
Yeah,
remember
there is.
anything.
Yeah, but I read up on it, and King wrote an epilogue
Wow.
for it. So, and I, once I realized that, then I'm like, okay. But what it reminded me of was that I shouldn't have done the epilogue in trolling. I should have just finished with "I'm your Auntie Mame,"
Oh,
because that would have been. Although people like the ending, but right there felt like it's like when a comedian gets a huge laugh towards the end of his thing, stop and take the applause and get off stage.
yeah. No, I totally get it. I have seen some plays. Actually, I think the last time I saw a play was whatever it was something that was the same thing. It had like 5 endings, and they just kept tacking it on. I'm like,
Well, yeah,
it's over. Let it go.
this was yeah. I don't like when I know exactly what you're talking about, and I hate it when they do it in movies. It's like, okay, unless you're just going to have the closing credit where, you know, we kind of, the camera kind of swirls through a hallway and the door slams and there's nobody there, and that's, oh, so the demon is really still alive, you know, that, and then run the credits and get a sequel. Don't try to do the sequel during the first movie. That's so anyway. I also watched the new Loki on Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
And it's basically when he disappeared with the square thing.
The Tesseract.
Yeah. When he disappears, he's arrested by the time police because he's changing time, and Owen Wilson is his lawyer. And basically, I mean, the thing I like about Loki is, well, first of all, the thing I like that Disney Plus is doing is they're not holding the bounds of the comics. They're growing and they're doing, I mean, WandaVision, how did that ever come about?
Right.
You know, that would never have been in a comic book, unless it was written after. But what they're doing is they're really thinking outside the box. And I told you before, when Disney first bought Marvel, you know, I was part of the Disney family, and, you know, everyone went, okay, they've already done a lot of these movies with the big famous people, and nobody wants to see Ant-Man, and nobody wants to see, you know, and they were calling off, you know, these different characters, and it's like, why do you say that? Because they're not already famous?
Right.
Make them famous.
Yeah.
And so, and with Loki's one of these great characters that he's so lovable, even though he's a bad guy, but he's really kind of, you really start rooting for him because he's the type of guy who goes, I really want to do the right thing, but if you want to pay me more to do the wrong thing, I'm okay with that too. And that's okay. You know, that's kind of I like having a character. I like Captain America. I just want to blow my brains out. He can't do anything wrong, so you're not surprising me. You can't surprise me unless he does something wrong. You know, give him a goatee and he can be the evil Captain America, and then maybe that would work. But, you know, so that's the thing that, you know, it's I like a flawed character like that. I think that's why Tony Stark was so good. He's so flawed.
Yeah.
You know, he wants to be a billionaire, and he doesn't care, you know, and then he's kind of like Elon Musk, you know, actually, if you think about it, a lot of, you know, what he does. Anyway, then I watched Into the Heights, which is the Lin-Manuel Miranda's movie that's on HBO Max right now and also in theaters. And it's 2 hours, 25 minutes. It's a big musical. I have never seen it before. So I'm watching this going, oh, that number feels, because there's a number where this girl comes back from school and she goes to the beauty parlor and they have a song. So it felt like I Feel Pretty, you know, kind of, it was like, it's Tell Me Something I Don't Know. And so they were all set, you know, talking smack about people and telling secrets. And so it was, but it felt like I Feel Pretty. And then there's this number where the boys and the girls are kind of dancing with each other against it. So that felt like America. And then there's a death scene. So that felt kind of like Somewhere, but also felt a lot like when Angel dies in Rent. And then there was another scene that felt a little bit like Rent. Didn't help that you had Mimi in the movie, but, you know, and it's like this couple are singing together, and it was Benny which is funny because that's a character also from Rent. And he's singing with the girl, and I'm like, oh, look, it's Benny and Mimi back together again. Maybe this was before they were in Rent. I don't know, because it wasn't Ty, but it was a black actor and a Hispanic girl, so it just felt like early Mimi before she met. Anyway, it felt a lot like Rent meets West Side Story, but the better parts of all of them, you know. And there's this one number in the pool where it's a hot day, so everybody goes to the pool, and it's like Esther Williams numbers in the pool. So they had a lot of fun with the show as well. So
Good.
and it's very entertaining, and the music's really, really good.
Now, I hear that the Hispanic and Latinx community really wants it to do well, because they need more representation, and
Right.
this is it.
Well, it's funny because we were talking last night because my show All Rise got canceled, and what I liked about All Rise was there was no dominant race in the show. There was Black people and Asian people and Hispanic people and white people and variations of the theme. And I really enjoyed that. And one of the Asian actors in the show was the guy who was the sergeant on Grimm, the NBC show about up in Portland. And I always loved him on the show. He was like my favorite character. And then as the Grimm progressed, he kept getting called upon more and more, and he was almost in every episode after a while. And then they gave him a whole storyline. So I was so glad that he was on All Rise. And now I'm thinking, oh God, and this is what I'm talking about, you know, when you want to see your favorites working again. And I'm thinking, I told Sean, I said, the good thing is everybody's making a real effort to bring in diversity into shows.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll still get work because of that. Because right now, it's still the hardest thing to be is a white female over 40 in Hollywood.
Right. So, yeah.
And then the show Home Before Dark just started on Apple TV again that I was telling you about with Dan Bird in the show. And so that was exciting. And then Love Victor started on Hulu, the second season, which is about a young kid, actually he's Hispanic, who comes out to his parents. And the second season is them dealing with him, and then I just saw the first episode, but he's going to go to school and have to deal with, I came out over the summer and this is my boyfriend, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. And it's and the mom is the one who has the problem with him being gay instead of traditionally being the father. So fun stuff. A lot of good stuff happening. You know, and I'm just waiting on Big Brother coming up in July 7th.
Oh, nice. That's not far away.
Especially now that I have Paramount Plus, and they're going to have After Dark on it. Woo-hoo! Oh, they probably have the 24-hour feed on there. Oh my God, I'll probably not get any sleep.
Oh, well, hey,
especially
at least get something when you're not sleeping.
Hopefully it's a good cast.
Yeah.
But I think that they probably are going to make sure that they cast this well, you know. And hopefully when I say that, it means not, you know, 18 white people, one black guy, and one gay Chinese girl.
Right. And they get voted off first.
Right.
Just watching like white carbon copy people be assholes for however many weeks they're at there.
Right. And I mean, it's always good when they start, you know, going after each other, but by then I'm too pissed off.
Yeah. Well, speaking of diversity, you wrapped up.
Well, yeah, just the two girls are doing fine. I think the third girl, I don't know, I don't want to jinx it, but she's looking greener. She's only this big. Sitting there doing nothing, but she's greener than she was a couple days ago.
Cool.
So I'm hoping. I hate to see them, you know, not grow up and let me smoke them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, speaking of diversity, I just finished watching through One Day at a Time, as I have said, and I missed the show so much on the day that after I finished it that I went back and I started watching it again. And it is so good. And it is just one of these things as we're talking about shows like All Rise, give us, give us diversity, give us a cast with all sorts of different people in it, and we will watch. Tell us these stories.
And the thing that I guess they're not understanding is that if the more diverse the cast, the more opportunities for storylines.
Yes.
I mean, the Brady Bunch, you had 6 kids, the parents and the maid, and occasionally they'd bring in a new character now and then for one show. But I mean, how diverse can you get with that?
Yeah.
I mean, now if you had if the mother was African American and the father was white or Hispanic, then you're going to have all these different storylines that majority of this nation have never seen.
Right. And
we're already starting off with so much new original potential. I mean, it's like going back to Jordan Peele when they said, "Are you going to put any white people in your horror shows?" And he goes, "Why? I've already seen that show."
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I'm watching One Day at a Time, you have a single mother. She is Latina. She went to war. She has a war injury. She's dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome while she's raising 2 kids, one of whom is a lesbian who has issues on 1 or 2 episodes because she passes as white and she doesn't know hardly any Spanish, even though her whole family is very fluent Spanish speakers. You've got the kid and he, experiments with dark. You've got all these stories, and you've got the mother. When the kid ends up smoking marijuana, she's like, look, just because your white friends do it, your white friends are going to get, slapped on the hand and sent home to their parents. You're not. You're the one they're going to send to jail because you are, you're Latinx. So these stories are ones that we haven't been exposed to. And here's a show that was doing it. And it's one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about that show and so disappointed that it was taken off. But I want these. Tell us the different stories. Give us the different perspectives.
I always gave you crap over that because I'm saying, ratings are ratings. But you know what? They're not paying very much for that fucking show.
Right.
I'm sure that Rita Moreno is probably the highest paid person on the show. And I'm sure they're not paying her very much either, even though she's an idol.
And she's worth every penny. But
right. And they're not. And so I'm just thinking, yet, they have some of these shows where you've got major movie stars coming in and doing television, and you have to pay them. And that's not the situation here. And you can have these tiny little shows. And I don't mean tiny, but I'm saying,
right.
As far as the talent, you're not paying for talent. And so all you really need is some good actors. You have some good writers and a good crew.
Yes.
And I still don't think it's going to cost you that much.
Right. And yet they can invest how much into something like 2 dumb girls, 2 broke girls, which frankly, I tried watching and I just finally said, nope, I've seen this 100 times and this isn't done very good.
It's bottom of the barrel humor. But that thing was a huge ratings getter.
Yeah, exactly. And yet here's this wonderful show. It's great. It's very talented. It's well written. It's telling us stories that we have not heard, giving us characters and representation that we need. They had a trans character. They had a character that was in a wheelchair that they didn't make any big deal about, and that's another thing, is showing the diversity in characters where they're not making it a cause or a 1 episode, off. It's part of whatever's going on.
Oh, this is interesting. whenever Andy Cohen has on like major movie stars
Hmm.
on his show, I like to watch when I hear about him because he's a big, fag fan, and by saying that, he asked the questions I want to hear about.
Yeah.
And I remember he had Jane Fonda on, and he goes, "Jane, do you got anything for me?" And she goes, "Well, I've got Clute, and it was an Oscar." And she goes, "And I've got Coming Home," which was her other Oscar. And so she's holding these two Oscars, and you can tell he's jizzing his pants.
Yeah.
Uh, but so I like when, because he'll ask those questions fans want to know.
Hmm.
And he had on Helen Hunt a couple days ago,
Oh,
and he was talking about how comebacks, and and he goes, "Hey, why hasn't there been a sequel to Twister? I mean, that seems like the perfect movie of yours that they could make a sequel to." And she goes, "Well, I actually went with the writers of the original. We went to the studio, said, let's do a sequel with brown and black people as the chasers,
mm.
and I'll direct it and write it with the original writers." And they said no. Now, why would you say no to that? It's got special effects. Black and brown characters can be famous people too.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about no star power, but the Twister was the star power.
Right.
I love Helen Hunt, so I did go to that for her and Bill Pullman,
Mhm.
Bill Paxton, but I went there for the tornado. I love disaster movies.
Right.
So, why they haven't done that is just, it's ridiculous. And she could even be in it as like, she's the saged,
Right.
wise,
Yeah.
person who's been doing this for years. She developed the blah 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 process that we
Right.
now use today to predict tornadoes. And they could have had lots of fun with that, and they could have had a huge summer hit, but they passed. And I'll tell you, they probably, and this, I don't know how many years ago this was, but they probably passed because, well, there's not enough white people in it.
Right.
Well, who's going to go see
Exactly.
that? And it's like, I don't know how many people went to see Hamilton. That didn't have any
Mhm.
white people in it either.
Right.
Stupid. But this thing, but it's changing now. It's really changing now. I actually was listening to, I think it was Bill Maher was talking about how he said that somebody was talking about a television show, and he goes, "Well, that show would never get made today with just a bunch of white men sitting around talking." And they're going, "Yeah, I know," and it's true. Nobody's going to back that anymore. I
Mm.
mean, definitely not Netflix. I mean, you
Right.
watch Netflix now, and it is the colors of the rainbow. It's like, someone's in a wheelchair, and somebody's an immigrant, and somebody's gay and lesbian,
Mhm.
and somebody's divorced, and somebody, well, they don't smoke. That's the other thing. They don't smoke, but everything else is going to be covered no matter what year it is. And I mean, like Bridgerton. Did you see Bridgerton?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I loved
Okay,
it.
so we're in like the late 1800s, early 1900s, somewhere around that time period in England, and they didn't have a lot of black dukes,
Right.
but who cares?
Yeah.
Especially when it's not a it's a fictional thing. Who
Yeah.
cares? It's a different time period. It's a different land. It's a different dimension. Then fine. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
you I would rather them be somewhat politically correct than factually correct all the time. And all we hear, then all we get with a war story is that they pushed all the black people out front first to get killed, so they could work down the other side. And that's
Yeah.
not a story I want to see anymore.
No. No. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So I am very happy to watch One Day at a Time again and just enjoy it because
Sorry
it's
for
such a
the
good show. No, no, absolutely everything you said is absolutely what we're talking about. Um, Other than that, let's see. How about Ragnarok? You finished Ragnarok,
I did.
and what are your thoughts on it?
Well, they need more episodes.
Yeah, it was really good this time. I would have gone for more episodes too.
It's good, but they really need to. I mean, we barely got anything done.
Hmm.
I mean, they
Yeah,
killed off the hot character, and that was about it. I mean, they had some cool things. I love the fact we're watching it, and he's going to the hammer. Why won't you work? And I go, get your ass outside and get some lightning. So, so he goes outside, and the lightning hits it. And okay, it's
yeah,
there. See, if you listen to me, you'll know.
yeah.
So yeah, and I like the Loki character. He's very, I don't know what to trust and not trust, and how he's,
Exactly.
and the
Yeah.
characters are really interesting and good. I love when they take mythological or even mythological, legend, and
Mhm.
they make it real.
Yeah.
And they do it well. See, I honestly, I'd much rather watch Ragnarok than watch the Thor movies, except for, he's so hot.
I know, right? But yeah, I thought I was a little critical of the first season because it just seemed like nothing really happened. But this one delivered. I was ready for more episodes, and actually kind of sad that there wasn't more. They did a great job,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I hope they bring on a hot daddy though, because that was
Well,
kind of
actually,
sad when he went.
he
But
killed off two of the hot daddies.
yeah, I was sad about
Yeah,
that.
so,
But
yeah, it was really tough, very tough getting through that.
yeah,
It's I guess I can go back and watch
use your eye candy. Yeah,
the first episode of the new season, because that the daddy was actually hairier than he was when he was fighting
yes,
last season. And I just saying,
yeah,
um, he's evil. I could change him, I'm sure.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um, so let's see what else I have watched. I watched Pride and Prejudice, the Emma Thompson version,
no, no,
and
I thought you said Sense and Sensibility.
oh no, no, you're right. It was Sense and Sensibility. See, I get the titles of some of those.
Yeah,
Like
because
I
the
even confused
new
Little
Pride
Women.
and Prejudice, she wrote Sense and Sensibility and won the Oscar for the screenplay, and deserved it.
Deservedly so. It is a
Fantastic.
great
What?
film.
I mean, how can you make that time period exciting? But
Yeah,
she didn't. I mean, I was on the edge of my chair the whole time. It was ridiculous.
yeah, and it was so good. It was wonderfully acted, and it just made me love her even more.
You
And
know, it was,
then
you know who it was directed by, right?
no, oh, Ang Lee, right?
Right. And
Yeah.
when he directed that, they did not give him a nomination for director, but the picture, it was nominated for Best Picture, but not director. And Emma Thompson was not happy about that in her Emmy speech either. And then but then he goes on to win two more Oscars, for director. He's one of the top directors of this time. And there's enough. I hate when they don't appreciate really good directors. It took forever for Spielberg to get his Oscar,
Yeah,
uh, his first Oscar, and Quentin Tarantino, they haven't even given him one yet.
it's so
So,
stupid.
so yeah. Anyway, but I love that show. Go ahead.
Same here. And I'm sure I watched it a long time ago and maybe just didn't connect with it, but I did this time and I absolutely loved it. And I didn't change like when Amazon finishes one movie, they start playing another. The next one up, they were playing Little Women with Winona Ryder, and I ended up watching about half of it. I'm still thinking I'm going to go back and watch the other half, but I had actually wanted to watch the newer version of it. And anyway, so this came on, I was watching it, and I don't have any real problem with it other than I just thought it was kind of a little boring. But
But it wasn't a
when
TV movie, and it looked like it was.
yes,
It just looked,
yes.
it looked cheap.
Mhm.
The direction was horrible.
They talked like they were part of this time period.
It's just there was so much wrong with it
Yeah.
that it was hard to get through. And then to go and watch the new one, it's like they should just take the old ones, and just throw them away.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Yeah, the new one is exceptional.
And so I'm looking forward to watching that hopefully this week. But when Kirsten Dunst, the little brat, got mad because she wasn't able to go to the theater or whatever, so she burned her sister's book, handwritten manuscript. I was, as a writer myself, and remembering when I had to do stuff handwritten before a computer, oh, I was like, you rip her head off, girl. You throw her out the fucking window. Bitch, bitch. And then, of course, she falls through the ice, and then it's like, oh no, everything's forgiven, you poor little bitch. Anyway.
That's called karma.
Yeah, right. But so anyway, that's about the point that I stopped watching.
Yeah. But that did happen in the book, so
it didn't.
You really can't blame it on,
Oh, right, yeah.
The actress, even though she's a whore.
You said it. So all that, and then let's see. So I have daddy therapy written down here, but I don't even want to talk about him. He has decided that he needs more attention, so he now has a physical therapist coming 3 times a week to deal with him, which of course means that I have to deal with him, where I just don't want to talk about him. Went to the Bear Bar on Saturday, and there, girl, I want you to go. There is the hottest fucking waiter there. He is a 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", and I don't. Hopefully, I don't sound racist, but he is half Japanese, half white. Oh my God, he is so gorgeous.
6'4"?
6'3", 6'4". I mean, he is tall. He is muscular as fuck. He was wearing one of those see-through football jerseys and super tight short pants that showed everything. And I mean like short shorts. I could not take my eyes off of him the entire time. He was like, we kept thinking, what's he doing in Sacramento? How did he end up here? Why is he not, working at the Eagle or something down in San Francisco? You've got to come and see him. He is so beautiful.
I know, but there you were objectifying some poor kid.
Yes. Yeah. No, he wasn't a kid. He's at least got to be, well, maybe 29, 30, maybe 32. I don't know. But I was objectifying him because he was so beautiful. But it's so rare when you go out to the bars in Sacramento and you're like, you see somebody like that and you're just like, oh, hello.
I know. I just remember how awful gay bars are for the objectifying portion of it. Mm-hmm. And I remember myself going to bars just to get that objectified.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I just think back at all the people that because I should be me too. I was a bad person, and so when people are still doing it, I'm like, okay, and then I feel like it's okay for me to do it, and then now I'm falling back into that rut. It's terrible.
Right. And see, the difference for me is in that these days, I certainly would not like be one of these weird people that like wants to grope them or just make bad lewd jokes to them or all that creepy stuff, especially as you get older. As you get older, and I get older,
you sat there and drooled on yourself.
Oh yes,
every time his tight shorts rolled up. But no, you didn't grab or want to grab.
I didn't grab. I didn't say anything. I made sure that he wasn't looking at me when I stared and drooled. But he was just such a beautiful man. Yeah. But you notice as you get older, you get more aware of trying not to appear creepy, because
Yeah.
you know how it looks when you're older and creepy. Yeah.
I just
It's a
remember
thing.
Sam, the creepiest man I've ever met.
Have you seen his posts lately? They're
No,
just very.
I don't think I have him on my thing anymore.
Oh, okay. Um, so do productive days. Luckily, I've had a few productive days among the days where I've practically not gotten out of bed because I just felt horrible this last week. Um, I'm okay, but I just have had some off days. Last romance update. It is still going good for July 1st. I've had finally some good people wanting to review it, and yeah, so I'm very happy with that, and looking forward to getting that out. And I've had a few people offer to help with some promotional stuff, so I'm definitely taking them up on that. And then finally, I ended up on Netflix, not sure what to watch, and I put on the Big Family Cooking Show season 2 popped up for some reason, and I'd seen it before, but it's long enough ago that I didn't remember like who won or who half these people are or what they cooked or anything. So it was kind of fun, and I love, again, here's a show, and this is a British show, tons of diversity, tons of gay, tons of different people, and they all think they can cook, and some of them can, and most of them can't.
I know,
So
but
it
it's
was,
always the Indian or Middle Eastern people that win that because they have interesting food.
yes,
Yeah, see, the problem with England is, or Great Britain, is that their food, their traditional food is not the best.
right,
And so when the Indian people came in, all of a sudden they were getting spices and
yes,
fresh
and
vegetables.
color.
Yes, and nothing. What do you mean you don't boil everything? Um, and
Yeah,
so that was what I find in those shows is always so funny is that especially that show was that it was like every week I'm going, well, there's an Indian family, so those British people with the bad teeth are not going into the next round.
yeah. No, it actually it's kind of true. And of course the host, the male host of it, is just like so cute and yummy. So he's fun to watch too. Although, man, he's quick with an opinion. Let's tell you.
Does he have tight pants? Tight pants where you see
Uh,
everything?
well, unfortunately, the camera doesn't show enough of below, but his face is so beautiful that I just sit and drool. And no, I don't drool, but I do think that he is a very attractive man who I wouldn't mind, having a liaison with. Anyway, we want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you, even if that includes a little lust and drool. Just don't be a pervert about it. Fat Marker Clothing wants those of us who've been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And you can do that by using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything, when ordering over at fatmarkerclothing.com. All right. Well,
You know what I just want to mention? I was okay. I told you this that I barely slept today. Well, what I usually one thing that always kind of clicks in and is I start thinking about a particular thing, and so I was sitting there for the longest time going, okay, what are all the songs in Annie? And I'm like going because Annie is just packed with hits because
Yeah.
it's got Hard Knock Life, it's got You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile, it's got Tomorrow, it's got Easy Street, it's got Little Girls, and one of my favorites is Maybe, which people don't usually think of, but
Right.
there's and I'm like going, what are the other songs? But I'm not getting on my phone and just pulling up the album and looking and then going back to sleep. I'm thinking about that. And then I'm thinking about musical numbers in those shows. Too much. I was thinking about them too much. And Annie basically did me in this morning.
Oh, okay.
I just want to share that. I want to share that.
I occasionally will just go and listen to Hard Knock Life just for the hell of it. It's one of my favorite songs from that show. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, let's see. Let's talk about advice. Dear Prudy, slate.com. Go check them out. And this one says, my fiance's mom, who is in the early stages of dementia, moved in with us. As soon as she got here, the mess began, literally. The contents of one of her storage containers now fills our spare room and garage almost to the ceiling and takes up space in the living room. She bought everything in threes. Salute, statues, baskets, as seen on TV crap. There's 20 years worth of taxes in boxes. She doesn't want to get rid of anything. My fiance.
You wrote this. You're the person that wrote it.
No, I would have said all of it is in his room, piled up against the ceiling. Anyway, my fiance and I were at our wits' end. She doesn't want mental health support, as she doesn't believe she has dementia. Trying to sort through everything is a nightmare. What do we do? Sort through in the middle of the night and just start secretly throwing things out? A lot of boxes are contaminated with dog dander and mice droppings, and my allergies are triggered by both. Please help. Okay, well, I'll tell you, dealing with hoarders and watching a lot of hoarding episodes, the first thing you do is do not secretly go through stuff and start throwing stuff out, because that will trigger her into a space that you do not want to get into.
Well, only if they know you've done it.
Well, yeah, but that's
So
one of
you
the
gotta
things
keep
about
them out.
hoarders is as soon as you think that they're not going to see that you threw out 5 boxes back in the corner that's been buried, they will find it. It's like they have some internal trigger. It's like, oh, I have to find that tax from 1973, and they start looking, and that's the one you threw out. So,
Yeah.
but
See, I'm no. Put it in
no,
the garage. Put it all in the garage. Leave it there. Slowly go through it. And have the fiance open the boxes and go, okay, no, she doesn't need a blender from 1950. Throw that out.
I know, right? And see, that's what I'm like. This is like making me twitch, because I'm all like, really? You can throw stuff away? I wanna sort through stuff and throw stuff away, please. But no, you can't do that, because she's in the early stages of dementia. As soon as it hits hard enough, she's gonna be in a home. You can toss it all anyway. Just take some antihistamine and deal with it. No, I don't know. I mean, I would be happy to get rid of all of it. Just say get rid of all of it and then deal with the outcome, but that's not the way to do it. But again, if she really is in the early stages of dementia, it's going to get worse, and it's going to get worse fast. So
not really. They're testing out all sorts of new medication now. Yeah. So I know what you're saying, but yeah, that's what happens. I would say that oh God. Yeah, I would be the kind that would go through and pick through and throw shit out. Especially, see, I know that, I mean, one of my big triggers is that I'm going to die and Sean's going to throw all my stuff into the garbage.
Oh, no, I'll take it. I'll come boxed up and take it and love it and sort through it and throw half of it.
Well, that's if you're still alive, girl.
Oh, true. Damn it.
I know that this is
spoiled again.
It was funny. I saw this meme, and it was this old woman, and she had a hutch full of all these things, all sorts of beautiful things. And she goes, just think, one day all this will be yours. And the meme says, yeah, all that's going to be in the, in a garbage bin.
An hour after you die.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's so sad, because I always think about when they take the grandma goes to the nursing home, and she has pictures of the grandkids and a few knickknacks, and that's it.
Yeah. It is. It's sad, but it's it's also our way of life, especially for the generations before us that worked so hard to accumulate, to whereas we're working, some of us are working hard to de accumulate. But it's like, I know that TJ Zombie Girl went through this with her mom recently. She had to like help move her, and had to sort through an entire house that had 60 or more years worth of, things.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I honestly I think about a lot when I look around my room and my things, is I'm like, okay, I know that as long as I outlive my parents, it's like I just know that whatever I have is, most of it's not going to have value to anyone. And
Don't cry.
no, I'm not crying. It's just like, the Court Heart records that I collected, they mean a lot to me, but they're going to go to a secondhand shop,
Or worse, they're
in
going to go in the
trash.
garbage instead
Right.
of going to a secondhand
And
shop.
that's why I kind of look at things in a different perspective of de-accumulating. It's like, okay, this is just going to get trash. Do I need this? Do I want this? Is this bringing me joy? Basically. So I try to kind of not keep a hoard of things, because, when it's done, it's not going to have real value to anybody but to anybody. So anyway, those are things that I do think about. Well, shall we see what Dear Prudie has to say? Oh, and I
Okay.
want all those signed posters. I want all of them. If
Okay.
I'm still alive.
Right.
Anyway, okay. So here's what Dear Prudie had to say. Get rid of anything covered in dog dander and rodent poop immediately. It's bad for your health and hers too, and you're now responsible for her. When caring for parents, the transition from "you're an adult who gets to make their own decisions, but I'm here to help" to "I'm the person in charge and I have to make the best choice for you" is a really, really tough one. Amen, girl. Oh, preach it. Because it doesn't kick in at any specific age or with any specific diagnosis. No one makes an announcement, but you're there. She is dealing with dementia, and therefore, left to her own devices, would happily turn your home into an overstuffed, allergy-inducing storage unit. She, your fiance, and you deserve healthy lives and space, and you're the one that has to make it happen. Next, imagine what you would do if you lived in a smaller space without a spare room. And do that. Tell her you have to clear out some space and spend some time talking to her, not about what needs to go, but about what she loves and values most. Once you have that information, keep as much clothing as can fit into her closet. Decide how much garage space you can comfortably part with, and fill a few boxes with some special mementos, photos, and other items that mean a lot to her. If you have to get rid of the other stuff in the middle of the night, that's what you have to do. And if you end up selling any of it, use the proceeds for something that will bring her joy, hopefully an experience rather than another physical item. I hate that this is going to upset her, but another part of your new responsibility is to do what you can to make sure she's okay emotionally. That means seeing a doctor about her condition. Don't wait for her to agree that she has dementia. Finding a therapist to help her through this transition, and looking for whatever support you can to find to make her new clutter-free life as healthy as possible and happy as possible. And I'm telling you, if she is a legitimate hoarder, that is not going to work. I'm just telling you.
Right. But the thing about hoarders is that so many hoarders have their own space
Uh-huh.
to fill and hoard. And I think if you take away, well, if you're right there, usually the hoarders are by themselves, or they're with people that let them hoard.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you want to stop that, you have to limit their space. I mean, granted, that hasn't really stopped your father, but
Well,
it has in a way, because when he finds that there's too much stuff, it moves out to the shed. So, but yes, I mean, I think it's right. You have to, I would get rid of, first of all, the mice droppings and the dander was actually on the boxes, is what she said, wasn't it?
Yes.
Boxes covered. So that could be, you take that out into the driveway, sweep those things off and start fresh.
Right.
Actually, you might even want to get a bug bomb and blow it up in the garage to make sure she's not bringing any roaches or other silverfish and nasty stuff with her. But yeah, I mean, I know that I could be looked at as a hoarder myself. Most of it was because I'm just too lazy to throw stuff away. The stuff I don't care about. If I do that, then I'm going to have to redo the whole closet. So fuck it. That. But yeah, I would start throwing stuff away that she's never going to ask for. It's stuff she didn't want in her room. So, and you're right. One day she's going to go looking for it because I know it's there, but I love the idea of stuffing her closet full of clothes that she can actually wear.
Right.
Because that's a real feeling of I've got my stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's one of the things that I did about 3-4 years ago is my mom took my father away for a day, and I pulled every single thing that there was out of his room, cleaned and vacuumed and everything his room, and then started going through all of his stuff, and I de-hoarded it down to stuff that would fit in his closet and in his drawers. And everything else, there was nothing on the floor. There was nothing. I mean, I went through all of that, and it took him a while to adjust. He didn't flip out, but he kept accusing me of throwing things away, and I'd have to go find it for him. So no, I didn't throw it away, but I actually did that for him. And here we are a few years later, and it is almost just as bad as it was before because he is a legitimate hoarder. It's not, it's not, it's not, just like he's got too much stuff. He legitimately hoards. So it's not something that until he would seek therapy or something about that he's ever going to get rid of.
Right.
So that's why this time we were going to do it again. And I finally, the other day, said, you know what? He's happy as a pig in his shit. He doesn't want to change. I'm not doing this. I am not.
At least he doesn't have 15 birds anymore. So
actually, 24 was his highest number.
That was just disgusting.
Yeah.
And because I love birds, but not in the house because they're foul, pun intended, dirty fucking creatures.
Yeah, they really are. He has one cockatiel now, and it's still it's like he's constantly vacuuming and cleaning up its shit and its seed that it flings out all over.
Ugh.
I don't like birds in cages, period. They belong outside doing their thing and being preyed on by hawks or whatever. Anyway, so that's what Dear Prudie had to say, and we all kind of agree and disagree in different ways there. Hey Chubs, how many types of pills do you take each day?
Now, what do you consider a pill?
Well, okay, I'll go first then. I take 4 different types of pills at night, like an aspirin, an allergy pill, and then I usually end up taking an ibuprofen during the day. And so I'm going to, and a couple vitamins, so I'm going to say 6 or 7.
Okay, I'm probably 12, 13, somewhere around there, but I only need to take 3. I mean, I've got my thing for hypertension, which they tell me I have, which I don't. One for cholesterol, which I don't have high cholesterol, but they make me take it. As soon as I hit 50, they said, "Oh, you have to take these 2."
Gotcha.
I mean, seriously. And then the allergy pill. I take my allergy pill, and then the rest are these vitamins, supplements that comes with living with a medical person.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, it's vitamin D, which was good, against COVID.
Right.
Didn't help me when I lost the taste in my mouth for 2 weeks, but okay. And I mean, it's just everything. There is one multi. He just started multi. There's a krill oil and a fish oil. The krill oil
Good.
is disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially one time, actually it was a fish oil. And actually, I lost one, and I couldn't figure out where it was. And then basically, it melted in my backpack where it was at. And so all of a sudden, I'm like going, "Oh my God, is that me? What was that smell?" And then one day at a movie, I go, "Hey, can you have me in my backpack?" And it went right in front of my face and went, "Okay, there's something in the backpack."
Yeah, I ended up getting one of those like kind of stuck in my chest at one point when it finally like released, and all I could do, I was just burping fish oil over and over and over.
So I mean, it's that kind of stuff. I mean, if he hears about something new on a podcast, we're taking it.
Well, that's actually one of the things that I'm going to start taking saw palmetto. So
okay.
yeah, because it's good for your prostate, and I don't, as I age, I don't want anything wrong with my prostate. I like my prostate.
Yeah, girl, we're gonna get in there and look at it.
Oh, that's
not me personally. Not me personally.
Oh,
but we're gonna get you an appointment, and you're gonna go in. And I'll tell you, I told the same thing to a friend of mine who just was going in for his first colonoscopy. I said, okay, the drinking of this stuff is gross, and you shit. But when you get to the hospital, they give you this amazing medication. And I remember every time I get it, as they're gurning me into the room, I'm chasing the oh, look at the butterflies. I mean, you're kind of like that, even though I'm not quite that off, but it was like, oh, this is great. I'm having a good day. Oh, this is fun, and then next thing you know, they're shoving that thing up your ass, but it doesn't hurt. Well, especially for me, but it doesn't hurt. The grossest part was that when they pull it out, and then they take the towel that you've been lying on and wipe off your ass.
Oh dear.
And I'm like, ew, why do I feel like I don't want to see what that towel looked like, even though I did the prep really well?
Yeah.
And this shouldn't have happened. Oh, but oh God, was it gross? Don't tell me. I don't want to even know. I don't want to know.
Yikes.
I want a pretty girl.
Hey Chubs, what physically hurts on you right now?
Well, I've got an itch in the center of my back right now, and my back scratcher is over there. So it's really driving me crazy. And I don't have anything within an arm's reach that's long enough to get to it. So as soon as we're off of this thing, I'm getting the back scratcher. But right now, I don't have, when I'm sitting, I don't have pain. My pain usually is directed around my lower back. And then, depending on how I sleep, a hip or a knee or a shoulder. But right now I'm feeling pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm when I sit for a long time in this chair, I end up like having some like pain like in my legs. And
well, that's because when they roll patients at hospitals, they roll them so they don't get bed sores or compression. And that's why people should, like, when they're working at a desk for a long time, should get up like every hour and walk around, go get water or go to the bathroom or check the mail, just as long as it's taking that weight off the back of your legs. The back of my legs are horrible for that.
And see, that's one of the reasons that sitting in the chair for so long over the last few years and not being as active as I used to be years ago, my weight shifted into my lower stomach and then the back of my thighs, and it really fucked with the circulation in my legs, which I'm trying to correct as much as I can, but they hurt some days, and I don't get up and walk like I'm supposed to. But the other thing is, lately my bed, I had to adjust my bed, and now I have this like pinched nerve or something in the left side of my back. Oh, girl, it's not a big throbbing thing or anything, but it lets me know it's there when I move a certain way. And
Now, does it go down
Oh,
your
it
leg?
pisses me off.
Does it
Hmm?
go down your leg?
No,
So
no,
it's not
thankfully.
sciatic.
I've had that before too. But
Is it
no,
the
this is just like it could even be like a little pulled muscle, but it feels like, when you pinch a nerve.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I had in my, I was reaching down below my balls to pull them up, and I pulled them up. This is like a month and a half ago, and
Mm.
pulled a muscle in my right above my hip on the right side,
Yeah.
and to the point of where it took me like 2 weeks before I was not always in pain.
Ugh, I hate
Um,
that. I hate
yeah,
it.
and that was just just a
Yeah.
simple stretch,
Hmm.
you
Not
know.
even like bending over and picking up something heavy. It's just like laying on the bed, and then suddenly, you get up and you're like, oh, what the fuck? All right. Well, now that we talked about all made all our younger listeners who like older guys go, God, that's hot. I'd massage it for you.
And
uh,
I can take it.
what's in your lunchbox? Well, Phoenix Dave wrote in and sent a couple great photos and said, shrimp fettuccine, Alfredo scallops, and lima beans. Hubby cooked and I ate and ate and ate and ate. And Mr. Dave there is from the Hypocrisy podcast. And you can learn more about that over at facebook.com/hypocrisy podcast. Also, hello guys, here's a lunch from last week, red beans and rice with a great sausage link. My next ex-husband, that's a big sausage link.
That's
Turnip,
huge. It's
turnip
huge.
greens and cornbread. What?
It's huge.
It is.
Yeah, and the red beans, and is it red beans and rice or just red beans? There's other rice.
Red beans and
There's,
rice, yeah.
there's rice on this side of the wiener.
Mm,
Yeah, this looks excellent.
yeah.
Sign me up.
Also, Mr. Moose wrote in and said, don't know how many pictures I can send for a while. Kitchen packed up, waiting for remodeling. We were supposed to start May 31st, but permits haven't been issued by the city. Regardless, I packed in preparation. I did manage to make wraps from Whole Foods turkey and microwave bacon on the side of tater tots. We've been eating a lot of sandwiches and takeout food. If I see any more styrofoam containers, I'll scream. That looks like an absolutely beautiful wrap, and I would eat those tater tots.
Oh yeah,
One thing I don't like is I don't like the underdone tater tots. So when I see them nice and crispy like that, beautiful.
I love tater tots.
Me too.
Tater tots make really good poutine
Oh.
because you can get them really crispy before you pour on the gravy and the cheese. Before all the other elements go in, because so often the fries are undercooked to begin with, and then you throw gravy on them. It's like just mush them up and make it into mashed potatoes. Because that's the whole thing. I want crispy potato in my poutine, and these.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I don't think that I have ever really had poutine. I need to find it somewhere and give it a try. All right. Well, currently LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with the HIV Planning Council, want you to know that there is an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective when preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, call your local sexual health clinic. If you're in Sacramento County, California, contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started today on protecting your sexual health. And with that, send us a comment at chubsgonewild.com. Send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Please become a patron of the show over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews at swannerandjudd.com. and find their podcast in iTunes or on iHeartRadio. Find out more about my books over at the newly revamped and looking fabulous justkisstheguy.com, and check out my other podcast at biggaysexshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Yes. We haven't had a call in a while.
Well, maybe Jana will call because her birthday's coming up in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. That would be cool. We can sing her happy birthday if she calls.
No. It's still,
Oh, is it? I thought they finally released that.
I don't think so.
Well, we'll do something. Sing you an NSYNC song or something. Oh no, that would be. Never mind. Anyway, we love you, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.